Welcome everyone to Mailed Fuzz News. This is your Wednesday edition. I am joined by Tara today, and also I'm Peter. I usually say that too. We have a little bit of movie news, a little bit of TV news. Not a big news day, but I trust that anyone who knows my opinion on Zack Snyder films will be delighted to know that I have opinions on the new Zack Snyder trailer because he's doing a movie at Netflix. He's returned to the zombie genre. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is his trailer for Army of the Dead, starring Batista. So the premise of this seems to be a group, and this is zombies have overtaken at least Las Vegas, if not more of the country, and it's actually very Peninsula, which is the second Train to Busan film.
I was going to bring that up because I haven't watched it, but I listened to your non-spoiler review, and I'm like, isn't this the premise of Peninsula?
It kind of is. Basically, a team led by Batista. I think they're all vets. They're going to go into Las Vegas, even though it's dangerous. But the idea being that, hey, there's a casino in there that's got millions of dollars in there that's just there to be taken. All you have to do is kind of sneak past the zombies, and it's ours. That's the premise. But of course, the sort of twist on it, and the premise of this film is that the zombies are getting smart and they're actually being a little organized. So the title "Army of the Dead" at least applies to kind of what the premise of the whole film is that they're actually starting to coordinate a little bit, and they're not just being,
Is this a remake?
No, this is not There's
no
based...
Romero.
No.
Army of Dead. Okay.
No. Romero did 3 good of Dead movies, then he came back and did, was it 3 more? Land.
Wasn't there one with John Leguizamo in it that was like,
that was Land? Yeah,
that was Land, and they were like kind of organized.
Land,
smart.
and then Diary, and then Survival of the Dead. That was the 3-year ones. Which I didn't like Land. I never saw the 2 after it. I'm sure I will at some point for Screams, but the general consensus is not good on those returns. Romero was kind of making movies because he liked making movies at that point. He lost kind of his edge, as it were. But no, this was not a remake. This is just it's just calling your movie something of the dead if you're making a zombie movie is just like a rite of passage at this point. I'm almost surprised that Train to Busan wasn't called Train of the Dead, because it would have worked.
I haven't seen it.
It's set on a train. I mean,
although when I did hear the title, my mind didn't think zombie movie.
That's fair. But it happens to be
like a South Korean rom-com or something.
That's fair, but it is one of the best zombie movies, and it's definitely the best zombie movie of the last, 10 years at least, if not the last 20. So I'll shower praise on it. Go see Train to Busan, people. It's wonderful. But anyway, what was the name of that film that we just got like 2 years ago about making the zombie? I forget. It doesn't matter. I'll look it up later. Anyway, that was a Japanese film. But yes, what did you think of the Army of the Dead trailer?
I thought that it looks like it'll be fun for people who are fans of that genre. I doubt it'll have anything to say about its setting in Vegas and how people maybe are like zombies when they are in Las Vegas. Like maybe they'll try to make something deep, but then it'll just be like the usual, whatever looks cool.
So what you're saying is this is not the satire of the original Dawn of the Dead or the political film that Night of the Living Dead was. This is not a George Romero original. You're saying this is more like a Zack Snyder movie, is what you're suggesting.
Yeah, I mean, it looks cool, so people who like that kind of stuff will be into it.
It's just a setting. It's just, hey, there's an Elvis zombie and there's some casino-related
There was
things.
an Elvis zombie in Dawn of the Dead, wasn't there? When they're like shooting people. I guess they're people shooting zombies from the rooftops.
I only
says Elvis looking one.
Maybe there was an Elvis one. I don't remember the Elvis one, but I did see it recently-ish for Screams. There was a Michael Jackson. No. It was Freddie Mercury. There's a Freddie Mercury zombie.
Oh, okay.
There was definitely Freddie Mercury. I mean, there may have been Elvis too. I don't remember the Elvis one, but there was definitely a Freddie Mercury. So this is basically just a shtick that Snyder has now. He does zombies that are either look like or are actually impersonators of famous musicians. I mean, people are probably expecting me to just like shit all over this. I don't really have anything that harsh to say. I think some of the one-liners are a bit stupid and just kind of feel, generic. But I expect to hate the movie. The trailer, for what it is fine. Like, there's nothing, it's like any other trailer.
I like Batista. I like Tig Notaro. She's in there too. I don't know, it doesn't seem like a movie that's for me anyway. I don't really watch a lot of zombie films or those types of action movies. And I guess like if money still means something in a zombie world, then most of the world must still be okay.
That would be my assumption.
Because you would think a zombie apocalypse would like collapse society and capitalism. So.
Yeah, I wonder if like something to do with the desert surrounding Vegas is how they're able to like keep it from spreading or something. I don't know. They were able to.
Well, there seems to be some sort of barrier that's been built around it.
Yeah.
Like they have some sort of containment and haven't risked breaking the containment by bombing it.
I will say, like, so I expect to not like the movie because I tend to hate Zack Snyder's characters and the way he portrays his characters. He's basically Zack Snyder is halfway between, to me, Paul W.S. Anderson and Michael Bay. He's like right in the middle of those two directors and how he does things. And I don't think that's a bad comparison.
Those are not good names.
They're not.
For filmmakers.
But that's what I often get from him. But regardless if you agree or disagree with that, I think just based on history, I don't tend to love when they try and do smart zombies. It's not typically something I like that much. Even the original Day of the Dead had one kind of smart zombie, but it was just the one, so it wasn't too bad. But typically, I'm not into it as much. I wasn't super into that. And obviously, it wasn't maybe taken seriously, but there was the zombie romance movie, Warm Bodies, where the woman she falls in love with the zombie.
It's got the about a boy kid in it, all grown up, right? Mad Max.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nicholas Hoult. Is there a child dying outside?
Yeah, I'm in a hotel right now. Probably some deaths going on right now.
I'll be honest. It was either a small girl or a cat, and I wasn't 100%. So I guess child.
Yeah, my room's like right at the entrance to the hotel, so I get all the traffic.
Good to know. Just in case there's any more noises, there's not much we can do about it. But so I'm expecting not to like the movie because I don't typically like when they do smart zombie stuff, and I really don't like Zack Snyder's characters usually. So yeah, the trailer itself is fine. Like the premise of the film, like, is fine. I mean, again, it was just done in Peninsula, basically, which was there's a van full of money, and the now zombie quarantine, country of Korea. But hey, if we can sneak in and get all that money, we can leave. Obviously, it goes in seemingly a very different direction. This is more about just them standing off because they're a group of soldiers, and there's a zombie tiger, whereas Peninsula goes down to like there's a human camp in here with like a Fight Club style thing going on and all sorts. But
so, who do you think we see in zombie form? Do we see zombie Celine Dion? Does she still have a Vegas show? Zombie Penn and Teller.
So you think they've shown us Elvis because it's the obvious one, but they're saving a few surprises? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. Probably Penn and Teller. They're famous. Siegfried and Roy are gone.
I think I'm trying to think of someone else who goes to Vegas a lot to do shows.
Well, Wayne Newton doesn't do it anymore. I don't know.
I don't know.
Tony Bennett.
I'm trying to think of like a sort of aging singer who does a lot of Vegas stuff. Like I'm thinking like a
Tom Jones type.
Yeah, like not now, but like maybe once upon a time, like would Dolly Parton do a lot of Vegas? It seems like a Vegas-y type.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. That kind of.
Oh. Yeah. I'm glad Zack Snyder's fans have a movie that they can watch.
Yeah, I think the thing with Elvis is he's got a distinct outfit and glasses and hair. I think Tom Jones is hard to like. You used to have to find someone who looks like Tom Jones, which is a bit more difficult. He's just like a normal looking dude.
Yeah, it would be a guy with a tan and a perm. Although I have heard rumors about Tom Jones, but I won't say what they are here.
Scandalous. Scandalous. All right, so Army of the Dead is coming out in May to Netflix, of course. It does have some theater same day, but I mean, most people will see it on Netflix, presumably. So look forward to that if you are a fan of these things we have discussed, most of which I am not, so I am not. All right, moving on. Chris Mackay is in talks to direct and produce a film that's been in the works at Universal. Now, we already knew about this movie. We already knew that this was happening. This is Renfield, the Dracula spin-off, as it were, focusing on the Renfield character. Tara didn't know about this clearly because she's making a face at him.
No, that's a odd choice.
Yeah, so he's in negotiations. It's not part of a universe. Like, I think whenever me and Tim talk about these movies, we still sort of talk about the Universal monster movies because there's a lot of them in the works, but none of them are connected. They're all just doing individual things that are all fun, wacky ideas. But yeah, it's based on an original story outline from Robert Kirkman, which I haven't checked again, but I'm assuming that's still the creator of Walking Dead, Robert Kirkman. Ryan Ridley wrote the script. So in the original Dracula novel, R.M. Renfield was an inmate at a lunatic asylum who was thought to be suffering from delusions, but actually is a servant of Dracula. Plot details of the movies weren't announced yet, but it's believed to take place during present day and is not a period piece. So if I was to guess what this movie is going to be, is that it's going to be in an asylum, and we're going to have Renfield saying things that are very vague, and for a lot of the movie, they're going to save Dracula, but for most of the movie, it's going to be just everyone thinking he's crazy. But maybe we, because we know the story of Dracula, are going to be like, oh, that sounded kind of like it made sense. I kind of understand what he just said, or something. I mean, maybe that'll be part of it. I don't know. Maybe they'll even tell us how we get in there in the first place. Maybe there'll be a bit of an origin vibe to it.
It's okay. Looking forward to the Igor movie that's coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I'll make fun of things where they try to stretch things too far. At least with this, I think at least with this one, they keep remaking Dracula. I'm just happy they're doing something that's not just another remake of Dracula.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, it's a difference because I'm kind of assuming it's still going to be mostly the story of Dracula's happening. It's just mostly happening off camera. And we just see all of Renfield's perspective, or he's the focus of it, but the story's still kind of going on. That could be fun.
Yeah, I imagine we'll get vampires eventually.
Yeah, there'll be some vamps. But yeah, there's tons of things going on. We got a Wolfman movie potentially with Ryan Gosling, a Van Helsing movie with James Wan producing. There's an Invisible Woman movie that Elizabeth Banks is going to direct. There's a bunch of things in the works right now.
Well, that Invisible Man movie that came out last year was incredible. So I will, keep my hopes up. Since we've had an example of something great, that we can get another one.
I think what that did is it basically said to Universal, stop this shared universe crap and just let people with good ideas
make a good movie. Yeah.
And even if the next one sucks, it doesn't mean the one after that has to suck too, because it'll be a completely fresh thing. So some will be good, some will be bad. I mean, it'd be great if they're all good, but obviously hoping for a bit much.
Right.
So yeah, all right. So Legendary are making a film called The Machine based on a viral story, and Mark Hamill has joined it. He's going to co-star in this opposite Bert Kreischer, who's the other lead. So, described as The Hangover meets Midnight Run, The Machine is a genre-bending comedy inspired by Bert's real-life adventures and subsequent breakout stand-up routine, The Machine, which has been viewed more than 85 million times on the interwebs. Bert's drunken past catches up to him 20 years down the road when he and his father are kidnapped by those Bert wronged 20 years ago while drunk on a college semester abroad in Russia. So, it doesn't say... I'm assuming Hamill's playing the father, but I could also see him playing like a... I mean, it says co-starring, so I'm assuming so he probably is the father, but part of me thinks that Hamill would be very good as the Russian, guy who's been wronged, showing up and be like...
Well, he's a good character actor,
yeah.
so yeah.
He could do the accent. He could tam
do
up.
it.
Yes.
He can do a Kenneth Branagh internet.
Oh, he did it better than that. Kenneth Branagh. I mean, I enjoyed Tenet. Like, I like enough of that movie to say that I quite like the film, but there was some rough edges, and one of them was Kenneth Branagh trying to do an accent. It wasn't the roughest edge. The roughest edge was the sound mix. Like,
of course.
Let's not gloss over the sound mix, but yes. I don't really have any interest in this. Obviously, Mark Hamill's name being attached to it is the most interesting thing about it.
Sure, yeah.
I would say. But hey. Next up, Slumber Party Massacre, the reboot, has found a distribution deal. So Shout have been making this, and hey, at least I know what this is, all right? At least one of us has a clue what Slumber Party Massacre is.
Oh, I know what it is. I haven't watched it, but I'm aware of it, yeah.
I think what's amazing about this is that they did a remake, essentially, or a reboot. I mean, I say reboot rather than remake just because I assume even if the characters have the same names, they're not going to be directly doing the first movie again. They'll just be... It's, there's a slumber party, there's a killer with a drill. That's all it is, right? That's all three of them were. Yeah. Well, I can't really say that. That's not fair to the second one, which sort of turned it into a bit of a music comedy as well at the same time. Because the drill was attached to a guitar. Slumber Party Massacre 2 is insane. It's an insane, wacky, like, experimental film. Is all. But anyway, one of the weird bits of trivia about Slumber Party Massacre's trilogy is that all three films were directed by women. And it's weird because when you watch the first one, you're like, this feels like a sleazy 80s movie directed by a guy. This is weird. Like, I mean, maybe the director was just like given notes by a producer and she just kind of came in and, came on set and just called the shots and that was it. And there wasn't much passion. But all three of them were directed by women. So it's nice that the remake or reboot is also directed by a woman.
Different women?
All different women, yeah. So, Danishka Esterhazy, I'm butchering that name. But this is the director of the Banana Splits movie, which I did see, and Vagrant Queen, which I've not seen, from a script by Ashby's Evil Dead, Suzanne Kelly. So even the writer's a woman. So this is like a bizarrely... It's funny, because you see the title, you see the poster, you even watch the first movie, and you don't think, like, this has come from the mind of a woman. Exploitation. Yeah, it looks like a sleazy exploitation movie that some sleazy man who was like on set going like, yes, get them in their underwear, yes, and get the drill out.
Stop doing that.
So it always surprises me. But anyway, the news is that Sci-Fi of all places have picked this up and they're going to premiere it later in the year, so it's going to go straight to cable. So
how about that?
So it's probably going to suck.
Well, it just means less people are going to see it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, me and Tim will watch it because we did the other three. We'll watch the new one. We'll talk about it, but
it's not even like going to Shudder.
Maybe it will later, but yeah, Sci-Fi. Maybe this is just maybe Sci-Fi are trying to get more into stuff to premiere. Maybe they're finally getting out of
Maybe they're going to come out with that Sci-Fi Plus app, and they need to have a big name.
No, it's Universal. Everything should be on Peacock. They own Sci-Fi. Just put it on Peacock.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Peacock's free. I like it.
Yeah, the free tier with the ads. But you'll get everything on the free version, though, right? There's like some gated content.
I think so.
Yeah.
I watched all of 30 Rock for free, though.
Hey, can't be a deal, I suppose.
Can't beat a deal. Can't be free.
Yeah, so that's cool. I mean, maybe it's good. I mean, hey, they're making a Child's Play TV show, which I'm also looking forward to on Sci-Fi. So.
Okay.
Maybe Sci-Fi are like saying, hey, we can actually do decent horror stuff for cheap, but it's not, maybe they're finally getting out of the Sharktopus versus Megalodon versus Octopython.
Yeah.
Whatever
that was of its time 10, 15 years ago.
No, I think you mean it lasted 10 to 15 years, because it felt like it did.
Yeah, I'll always miss the straight to Sci-Fi movie version of whatever's in theater, though.
I mean, Transmorphers.
Transmorphers. That's a good one. There was that Battle Los Angeles. They had like a Los Angeles battle or something. It was the same premise.
Yeah, which is funny because there was already
with awful CG.
What's funny is there was already a knockoff of that called Skyline, which came out before Battle Los Angeles because I think it was an effects person who worked on Battle LA got fired or something like that, and he took basically all the plans to another studio, and they basically rushed out their own version before Battle. Now, it's Battle didn't even get good reviews, and I never even saw it, even though I liked the premise.
I saw it in theater. Yeah, no. Cool, an alien invasion, but done Black Hawk Down style. I'm into this, and it wasn't very good.
Yeah. Well, apparently Skyline's even worse, and somehow that just got like a third sequel or something. So that's one of those things where they've just been pumping out these crappy.
Sounds like a bonus movie to me.
Oh no! Please no. So yes, Slumber Party Massacre is coming later this year. They've actually not said what the plot of the new one is, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say there's going to be a slumber party and there's going to be a killer with a drill. Unless they, I mean, maybe that'll be the big thing to change. Maybe they'll change the weapon. I will say this though, I bet you the killer's got a better outfit, because in the original film he's literally wearing a denim shirt and like jeans. And that's the outfit.
Canadian tuxedo, that's what that's called.
Oh, by the way, there's a great Canadian joke in the new Mighty Ducks TV show, like episode 1. It's great.
Okay, I'm not gonna watch it.
I'll tell you about it off show. It was gold. All right, moving on. A couple of TV things. This one's quick. I've never seen it, but people like Bridgerton. It's doing well for Netflix. They've just renewed it for season 3 and 4. So. Like Bridgerton,
apparently it's quite steamy.
You're getting 2 more years. So is it just steamy Downton Abbey? Because the photo I'm seeing here, it just looks, kind of that style.
I don't know. I haven't watched it, but I did watch the Saturday Night Live where the guy hosted it.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as he walked out on stage, like all the women were just screaming. I'm like, oh, maybe I should watch it. They had a lot of jokes about Bridgerton.
Oh well.
So, but I'm not gonna watch it.
Yeah, it's a Sean Dolan show, so maybe Sean Dolan fans are into it. Okay, well, moving on then to the last story of the day, which is that NBC have picked up 2 pilots. Because we're in that season. This is the part of the year where they'll be picking up pilots.
Where do they find the pilots? Stupid joke.
Yeah. Now, I know you're a huge Tarantino fan, so I know you've heard Samuel L. Jackson explain what a pilot is probably 150 times, because he does it at the start of Pulp Fiction. So I'm not addressing that joke with any kind of response other than that. So, yes. They picked up 2 pilots. One is called Hungry by Demi Lovato, and the other one is a romantic comedy called Someone Out There. So, the second one was ordered to pilot last year, but was rolled onto this year's pilot orders because of the pandemic, as you'd expect. It was a pretty obvious excuse. So, Lovato is going to star in executive producing Hungry, a single camera comedy that follows a group of friends who belong to a food issues group, help each other as they look for love, success, and the perfect thing in the fridge that's going to make it all better.
All right.
No thoughts?
I mean, Demi Lovato, I don't really know much about her. I think she has like a real problem with addiction or something. I'm thinking of the same person.
I mean, maybe is it food? Because that's what this show's premise seems to be about, addiction to food.
She has talked about like her eating disorders and stuff, but I think she had like a drug addiction. But I guess this has nothing to do with that. So, sorry I brought it up.
That's
the only thing I know about her.
That's flavor. Yeah, I mean, what are these news shows if not? It's just to go into tangents after each story about something that sparked an idea.
Yep, it's the only neuron that sparked in my brain. Addiction.
Someone Out There is a single camera romantic comedy about 2 set in their ways adults who are challenged by very unexpected strangers to become the best versions of themselves in order to find love and possibly each other.
Okay. I'm not going to watch either of those.
I mean, neither am I, but hey, the demographics would dictate that you're more the target audience for these things than I am. So
yeah, I mean, I don't hate a good rom-com, but I tend to let it filter through a few people before I go, okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah, no, I get it. You let someone else do the get the diamonds in the rough. Just you have just the plate of diamonds when it's ready. Let someone else wade through the shit.
Yeah, although they've been wrong. You're the Worst is a terrible show.
Okay. I'll be honest, before the end of that sentence, I thought you were just telling me I was the worst, and then luckily you slipped in there with the extra part.
Not this time.
Aw. Alright, well, that's the news for today. Thank you for joining us, everyone. You can let us know what you thought of everything we talked about in the comments. Please do like and subscribe. It is the way you can let YouTube know that we are worth recommending out. And the YouTube algorithm, unfortunately, is the beast of which we all must adhere to and hopefully slay one day with YouTube clicks and views and likes and subscriptions and all those things. You can, of course, support us over at patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. I usually make Tara do this, but I'll be nice and just go through it quickly. You can support us for as little as $1 per month and get some bonuses for your troubles. But otherwise, catch us on Twitter at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching and listening. We always appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.